I honestly can't explain how happy I am to see all you here today. Family, friends, and retirees, you have my sincerest gratitude and appreciation for taking time out of your weekend to come down to the port and be a part of this promotion. I'm sure the open bar tab and burgers at Dan's immediately following motivated a few of you who may have been on the fence. But I forgive you. I like food and beer too. Maybe more than I should. So please excuse my son going da 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 da. So please don't tell, or I'll be stuck justifying my red meat and alcohol consumption to our medical staff on the next drill weekend. When I first joined the port, we'd grill burger, hockey pucks, and hot dogs at P13 during the annual air show weekend. Now our chief won't let us get away without having a 3-course menu consisting of state fair fried delicacies, freshly caught New England seafood, and Texas-style barbecue entrees fit for General Curtis LeMay himself. Yes, times have changed from when I first became an aerial porter to becoming a senior NCO. I am quite sure there is a first shirt or two out there saying, wait, that kid? The one that used to ride the pallet jack around the warehouse? He made master? Yes, that kid made master. And yes, dreams do come true. And yes, I can still ride a pallet jack like the road warrior Mad Max of aerial porters. If you work hard enough, master your craft, and teach others along the way, success will naturally follow. It's always been my mantra from day one. Work hard, play harder, and lead with compassion. My first experience being mentored by a senior NCO was working on an airfield in upstate New York during my deployment to Fort Drum with the Army. Yes, the Army. We all make mistakes. Anyway, the airfield NCOIC, Master Sergeant Salvatore Pizza, a crusty old Italian from New Jersey, took me under his wing. He showed me how to drive a forklift, taught me how to build confidence in myself, and pushed me to methodically complete aircraft missions for the 10th Mountain Division. He also showed me season 1 through season 3 of The Sopranos, which he had expertly recorded on VHS for a virtual training between missions. Little did I know, after my deployment, I would soon join a much larger family of mobsters and lobsters right here at Quonset Point. When I transferred to the Rhode Island Air National Guard, I immediately met the mom and dad of the aerial port, Master Sergeant Kevin Sarley and Master Sergeant Paul Delabarba. You know it's true. The dynamic senior NCO duo was instrumental in my technical growth as a leader and technician amongst my fellow port dog peers and Padawan airmen. They were responsible for taking our unit from the P-13 minor leagues to the small air terminal majors, which you see here today, an elite air transportation force I'd confidently deploy with anywhere in the world. I'd like to give a quick shout out to our brothers and sisters who recently returned from overseas. Renee, Wally, Jizzy, Ant-Man, Nelson, and Cookie. Thank you for protecting our freedom and keeping my little Nash potato safe. You reach a point in your career when you've completed a couple enlistments, deployments, and received enough state and federal accolades to rival Forrest Gump. So what keeps you going? You've got your degree, VA benefits, home loan, hometown hero discount at Texas Roadhouse. It's a tough question to answer. I felt that way as I was reaching the end of my second 6-year enlistment. We had recently returned home from Iraq, and I lost my mom, Karen, to cancer shortly thereafter. Karen had been the driving force behind my career choices and literally signed my enlistment paperwork when I was 17 years old, after I pleaded with her that the Army would help pay for college and she wouldn't have to worry anymore about my fluctuating grades senior year. On the eve of the ORE that year, I almost pulled the plug, but Master Sergeant Eric Catalozzi picked me up, dusted me off and challenged me to do 20 years. Man up, think about the future, and lay to rest the short-term bullshit. It was the best advice I had received from a supervisor in my young career. People do not quit jobs, they quit bosses. I cannot thank Kat enough for supporting me when I needed strength and heart the most. Before being awarded this promotion, we held a master board here at the port to prepare candidates for the official wing board with Chief Houghton. I was asked to decide between leadership differences between a tech and a master sergeant, or describe in detail a mulligan earlier in my career, which taught me to grow as a leader. I strategically chose the first question to answer, because I probably had more mulligans than oak leaf clusters over the last 20 years. So I figured I might as well tell my mulligan story now that I have my stripes. We were on a 2-week trip to Alaska, led by Senior Master Sergeant and Troop Commander Mike Senecal, and I decided to host a beer pong sesh in my room shortly after a work shift. We were feeling good, and figured we'd move the party off base and continue our morale-building exercise. As the group of us got off the first floor, in came Mike through the front door of lodging. Just like Kramer kicking open the door to Jerry's apartment, Mike entered the building with his lanyard, swinging around his neck like a gold medal, or the key to the city of Anchorage he had just received from the local Chiefs Council of Inuit tribal members. Mike was the last and greatest of the old grizzled aerial porters, and he knew how to play the game better than anyone. Mike, I said, where have you been? We've been pounding beers without you. Mike, without hesitation, replied, I was at the PX. Where are you guys headed? Yes, I do impression. We're going to a dive bar just after the gate for a few beers. You want to come? Yeah, okay. No sooner had we piled into the van and Mike announced to everyone, I was just down at the VFW drinking beers with some guys who were here 20 years ago the last time we were here. You believe that? Mike left that impression on people. The local vets literally remembered Mike from our last trip from Rhode Island Guard 20 years ago. Anyway, before we could even ask Mike how it came to be that he was at the PX and the VFW at the same time, an active duty security forces airman standing in the middle of the road flagged us down into a mini-mart parking lot. Now Alaska is funny. It was 10 o'clock at night there, but the sun was as high as noon on a warm sunny summer day here in Rhode Island. Shit got real fast. As I turned into the parking lot, my mind flashed back to the scene at the end of E.T., where the government and cops are trying to capture the lovable little alien creature from the kids on bikes. I didn't have E.T. to help me magically fly over the cops and security forces troops. I thought I was toast. It got worse. Sir, how much have you had to drink tonight? The worst question can ever be asked after riding high with your drinking buddies. In brutal honesty, I replied with the Air Force integrity of a true NCO. A few beers, officer. Can I ask you to blow into this breathalyzer? Yes, of course, no problem, I reluctantly replied. The officer saw the results and looked back at me as if I was dying from a terminal illness and did not have the heart to tell me in front of my family, stirring quietly in the back of the van. Son, where are you from? Rhode Island, sir. We're here on a 2-week trip. Well, just so you're aware, in Alaska, our blood to alcohol limit is 0.05, and you just blew a 0.049. My heart stopped. I felt sick. I could already hear Kevin Starley receiving the call back in Rhode Island, and his wife Dee dropping a pan of cupcakes. Is there anyone else in your party that can drive? At that moment, my ET appeared from the sky, and his finger glowed with fire. Senior Master Sergeant Mike Senecal came to my rescue. Yes, sir, I can drive. Mike saved me from certain doom, a DUI, and death by feeding to ravenous grizzly bears, an Alaskan law still honored since 1784 by the original settlers, whalers, and fur traders. Okay, I made that up. It sounds cool. Senior Master Sergeant Mike Senecal cared more about us troops than himself, and magically helped us fly our bikes safely over harm's way and back into Beer Town, USA. Thank you, Mike, for showing me how to take care of our guys, and carry on the glowing, compassionate ET finger of a senior NCO. Well, I'm going to end with another heartfelt thank you to all of you for coming out. I especially want to thank my beautiful fiancée, Taylor, for tolerating my shenanigans and spontaneous lifestyle. You are a good sport and a keeper. Taylor helped me edit this earlier in the week, and I decided to redo the conclusion so she'd be taken by surprise. Otherwise, she'd probably sleep in past the ceremony to avoid all attention directed to her. Taylor, you are my rock and my personal whiteboard for life's goals and to-do lists. Thank you, and I love you. Lori, thank you for helping out by watching and helping nurture my little Nash potato on drill weekends. You are a blessing and already the best grandma ever. Finally, I hope all of you will now do me the honor of crushing a beer and burger with me over at Dan's Tavern on the Green. Thank you, and God bless America.